Hey guys, tonight we are slipping back to a time when dating meant navigating muddy paths rather than dodging left or right swipes. Picture yourself wrapped in your coziest blanket, a sleepy cat curled into a donut on your lap, as we set the stage for a journey through the winding alleys of medieval markets. You know, the kind of places where everyone seemed to be a salesman, with an accent spicier than the dried herbs they peddled. You probably won't survive this without a chuckle or two, but hey, we're in this together, like late-night infomercial buddies. Before you get too comfy, feel free to tap like or subscribe, but only if you're genuinely enjoying the calm around here. Tell me where you're listening from and what time it is over there. I love seeing how far this sleepy little journey reaches. Now, go ahead and lower the lights, maybe let a fan hum in the background, and let's drift gently into tonight's story together. You wake up in a quaint medieval village where the morning fog wraps around you like a toasty scarf your grandmother might have knitted, and the air smells distinctly of something between fresh bread and, well, you're pretty sure there are chickens involved somewhere in that aroma. The cobblestone paths are cool underfoot as you wander towards the market square, where the real medieval magic and mischief unfolds. As you walk, you're surrounded by a constellation of sounds. Merchants hustling their wares with shouts that could wake the most stubborn rooster. The clang of smiths hammering metal into all sorts of unidentifiable but somehow essential objects. And the chatter of townsfolk exchanging stories. And naturally, the occasional medieval meme equivalent, gossip. Now, here's a historical nugget for you. These bustling markets were not just for trading goods, but hearts too. Yep. While we might casually slide into DMs these days, back then it was more about sidling up to someone while inspecting turnips. Honestly, imagine a sparkling vegetable debate turning into a deep romance. Yet, sometimes, that's all it took. A shared chuckle over an oddly shaped carrot to kindle a medieval spark. And here's a fun fact. Markets often had designated areas where young folks could gather and mingle somewhat freely, perhaps more so than in more formal settings. This medieval version of a social app was called a folk moot, which honestly sounds like a cousin to TikTok, doesn't it? However, historians still argue whether these folk moots were as buzzing as chroniclers claimed, or if it was just a bit of medieval embellishment. Was it really the OG social club, or just a fancy name for, hey, let's meet next to the grain stall? So, here you are, wandering through the market's endless display of vivid textiles and tinkling wind chimes. Or was that just a gentle breeze shifting the tattered flags overhead? There's a vendor hawking bright dyes, claiming his shades could even impress a king. And on a whim, you imagine picking out a striking bolt of cloth. Because why not make a statement at the next medieval meetup? Though, something tells you that the hue millennial pink wasn't exactly on the market tables back then. Amidst this chaos, a fateful rendezvous might just be brewing over at the spice merchant stall, where a pair of eyes meet over peppercorns, more exotic than a Hamar no-filter post. And voila, you've just witnessed a medieval meet cute. Who knew love could start over a basket of fine ground cinnamon? But oh, watch your step. You nearly trip as a trader's donkey lazily plods past, its saddlebags bursting with onions. The vendor smiles apologetically, and you can't help but laugh, giving the creature a wide berth. It's like stepping over your phone charger's tangled wires, only with a bit more oniony flair. You continue to wander, taking in the sight and warmth of the community. It's like the glow from your laptop at 3 a.m., quietly inviting yet so full of unspoken stories. As the sun dips and stalls begin to close, you can't help but think of how, just maybe, this medieval heart of the village was where love began for countless couples. Much like how we find connection now, not by overthinking, but sometimes by simple, unexpected moments. And here's the wild part. Some folks believe the busiest days at the market were ideal for secretly slipping tokens of affection among the goods. A plot twist worthy of any rom-com. So picture it, a lover's hand sneaking a small trinket amidst the pears, possibly turning this well-trodden path into a labyrinth of subtle romance. Sounds like a plot line the Bridgertons could borrow, honestly. The day settles, and you wander away from the fading hustle, wondering if maybe you tapped into a little medieval magic of your own. A thought that sits alongside you like your sleepy dog by the couch. Much like our everyday emails, tea spilled, and social apps checked too many times, their little interactions turned into stories that would echo through cobblestones for centuries. You find a cozy spot on the village green and let the peace wash over you, much like a fan humming warmly in the background, lulling you towards the gentle embrace of time and tales, ready for the next dreamy step into our medieval saga. As the twilight settles over the village, you find yourself drawn to a tale of silk, a journey that promises smooth surprises and maybe some medieval mud on your shoes. Imagine you've just dipped your toes into this bustling medieval market, and now you're off on a quest for a piece of silk that's said to be softer than a summer breeze. Naturally, this isn't just any silk. It's the perfect gift for winning over the heart of an elusive love, or maybe just impressing the local nobility with a bit of flair. You set forth, your steps echoing softly on the cobblestones, among the clamor of the market winding down for the day. The path before you unfolds like a TikTok feed of surprises and curiosities, each spin bringing another unexpected delight or challenge. And if you think that tracking down the perfect gift was just a modern-day dilemma, think again. Back in the day, picking the wrong shade or texture could lead to a much more public faux pas than an awkward text. As you trudge along, you spot a group of travelers with wagons piled high with cloth, their vibrant fabrics fluttering like a series of flags in the evening wind. Your senses are overwhelmed by their rich colors and the dense scent of spices lingering in the air, like cinnamon tingling your nose and sandalwood grounding the earthy essence of the day. The excitement bubbling within you is akin to finding an unread message that could be anything from hey to a late-night confession. Now, let me throw a quirky historical fact your way. The Silk Road, which stretched all the way from Asia, wasn't just for bartering silk. It was a massive superhighway of exchanges, goods, culture, and ideas. Interesting, right? Historians often speculate that the very essence of what we now consider world culture was shaped profoundly by these connections. And imagine trying to make that kind of cultural exchange in today's world without Google Translate. Yikes. Of course, historians still argue whether the silk's quality varied dramatically along its journey, or if merchants spun tangled tales to add a bit of mystique and haggling power. Was your silk genuinely from distant lands, or a clever local spin? It's a debate rivaling pineapple on pizza in relentless fervor. Deep in discussion with a vendor who looks like he's walked straight out of a tapestry, you finally notice a bolt of shimmering silk, resting like a lazy Sunday afternoon breeze. It sparkles subtly in the waning light, and you reach out to run your fingers over it, feeling the luxurious promise whispering with every touch. This might just be the very cloth that poets rave about in heartfelt ballads, or for you perhaps, a medieval shout-out post in fabric form. Here's a light chuckle for you. Buying silk back then wasn't just a financial commitment, but a social statement enacting drama and whispers louder than borrowing someone's Netflix password. And you thought pressured buys were only a modern inconvenience. The vendor, with a grin softer than his merchandise, promises it's fresh off the Silk Road, assured to win any heart this side of Camelot. You nod, picturing the tales woven into its fibers, deciding it's well worth the exchange. If not for love, then surely for its beauty and the stories it undoubtedly carried from far-off lands. Finally, you find yourself meandering back through the now quieter streets, your newly acquired silk tucked safely beneath your arm like an irreplaceable text thread. The stars begin to peek through the velvet sky, each twinkle inviting you to ponder the possibilities tomorrow might bring. All the while, comparing your own journey to those woven by troubadours into unforgettable songs. You wander to the edge of the village green and sink onto a soft patch of grass, reflecting on how such a simple quest could blend so seamlessly into the fabric of your day. Don't you wonder if their evening musings circled over the same things we gently contemplate on our screens, seeking connection among the stars as much as with each other? The gentle hum of crickets accompanies your journey's end, as if Mother Nature herself were whispering her approval of your adventures. The silk becomes not just a gift, but a token of a day wrapped in mystery and magic, a testament to the simple beauty of seeking and finding something wonderful just when you need it most. Your eyelids grow heavier, and you let the hush of evening draw you further into the cozy folds of night, your curiosity having been woven into the vibrant tapestry of the medieval world and ready for new threads to unfurl in our next dreamy chapter. You slowly drift back into the medieval world, where love isn't just in the air. It's complicated, just like trying to explain TikTok to your grandma. As you meander through the tapestry of courtly love, it's clear that romance back then wasn't as simple as a swipe or a liking spree. It was an art form, a delicate dance of words and glances, and maybe an over-the-top serenade that ranged somewhere on the spectrum of poetic flair to cringeworthy Hamlet. You imagine yourself fully immersed in this colorful landscape, rubbing the sleep out of your eyes as you step into an ornate hall. The grandeur of tapestries hanging like influencers' best snaps, only much heavier. Noble knights gather, armor gleaming softly in the dim candlelight, more for the benefit of admiration than actual protection. Let's be real, leather armor in a paintball game would probably be more effective than some of those shiny chest plates. Here's your historical fact for the evening. Courtly love was actually born out of necessity, as arranged marriages were often more about business than pleasure. It was a concept that romanticized longing, and love was considered more profound when unconsummated. Just imagine a romance novel where the payoff is a wistful sigh instead of a dramatic kiss. Kind of like watching an entire series just for the characters to wave at each other from separate balconies. There, tucked in the corner of this grand hall, is a bard strumming a lute, crafting verses meant to woo and enchant, and maybe even poke subtle fun at the night in the room, trying to impress the object of his affection. with a slightly too long poem. The court around him is whispering, floating on a sea of amused approval, like live tweeting their way through an unexpected plot twist. These poems and songs were the medieval equivalent of sending a carefully chosen meme. Timing and delivery were everything. But here's a head-scratcher still debated by scholars. Did courtly love really reflect people's day-to-day romantic experiences? Or was it just escapism for those who enjoyed a good yarn more than the daily grind? It seems a bit like people donning VR headsets and saying they've traveled to Mars. Wonderful stories, but a tad detached from reality. Taking a sip from a goblet of mildly questionable mead, you reflect on how emotions, despite centuries passing, don't really change all that much. There's still that yearning to connect, the butterflies in the stomach, and the overanalyzing of a sideways glance. All right, ready for something quirky? Medieval love saw a sharp increase in love tokens, rings, handkerchiefs, and locks of hair among the fanciful items exchanged. Some knights would even wear their lady's favor, like a scarf or ribbon, during jousts to carry their loved one's grace into the arena. It's heartwarming to think about. But honestly, following this logic, should we be considering gym sock exchanges as declarations of modern love? You move closer to a group engaged in a heated debate, using words like thou and fairest, and realize they're arguing over which knight is more dedicated, mirroring those Reddit threads comparing enthusiasm over fictional pairings. One knight offers a lengthy discourse involving dragons, lost castles, and a hazel-eyed maiden. Everyone is hooked, which is impressive considering PNG files or beautifully filtered story highlights weren't a thing yet. It seems love was much like a sun-dappled tapestry, where dreams were embroidered in golden threads and imperfections in darker shades, like the occasional ink blotch on a freshly drafted sonnet. You can't help but smile, pondering how medieval love and its rituals echo the overwhelming balance of vulnerability and self-awareness we carry today. Whether sending that first risky hello or crafting the perfect playlist, as night pressingly dips the room in elongated shadows, your eyelids grow heavier, lulled by the soft lilt of a lad's voice narrating dreamy verses. Yes, their love stories were painted with more eloquence and fewer emojis, but that poetic heart beats just as strongly in our modern chests. You let the world around you detach slowly, picturing the glow of this medieval gathering fading behind eyelids closed to gentle dreams. In the soft embrace of the night, you find warmth and rest, the courtly dance of words and hearts leading you toward a peaceful sanctuary